I had to do my test for brown sash. Part of my test was a 15-minute continuous sparring with Sifu Wit. Sifu Wit did a roundhouse kick. I just went bang, hit him straight in the nose. He just started leaking. Because I'm like, oh no, I bloodied the instructor's nose. I'm going to pay now. Then we continued, and then next thing I know, I was just nonstop looking up at the ceiling all the time.
Competition.
Welcome back to FURYCAST. Today, I've got a friend of mine and a co-laborer in the cinematic arts and the martial arts. Welcome on FURYCAST today, my friend, Mr. Mark Dong.
Why, good morning, Derrick. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
You have too many black belts to name. What all do you have rank in?
So as you mentioned, Kajukenbo Karate, Praying Mantis Kung Fu, Texas Karate Organization. I'm a 7th degree. I was promoted by Grandmaster April Cunningham. She is Master Wayne Wynn's instructor. If y'all don't know who Master Wayne Wynn is, I don't know. Many people have watched the movie Sidekicks, which was filmed here in Houston with Chuck Norris. Master Wayne Wynn was the white ninja who displayed the double nunchaku. So in addition to that, I'm also a Krav Maga expert level 2, and as you mentioned, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu 1st degree black belt.
Man, you stay busy, huh?
35 years of martial arts training, so yes.
Now the sidekicks, I think this is the 3rd, maybe even 4th podcast I've done in a row where sidekicks has come up, and I keep telling the story that I was there that day. I was an extra on set that day where Wayne did the white ninja. They did the whole white ninja thing, and it was the big tournament scene. Check out my story, how I snuck in to be an extra, skip school on previous podcasts. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So man, you get around Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Praying Mantis Kung Fu. But first, and in addition to that, you're an actor. You've been on several TV shows. You were in Lion Killer. Actually, if you go on Amazon Prime, the thumbnail for Lion Killer is you're one of the 2 guys rolling. So you're actually the thumbnail on my movie.
Me and Professor Chad Kite.
Yes.
Or that thumbnail, which was pretty cool.
You also teach firearms. Man, do you what don't you do, Mr. Mark Dong?
Don't do drugs.
There you go, kids. Don't do drugs. Now take me back to the beginning. How you started down this path of being a martial artist.
Wow. So we're going back to, I want to say 1983, 84. I think I was like 10 years old at the time. And of course, at that time, during that age, Bruce Lee was the icon for martial arts. And, watching him in, Enter the Dragon and some of these other ones, Return of the Dragon, where he was fighting Chuck Norris in the Coliseum. So that wanted me to get into martial arts. So I was bugging my parents to get me into it. So they found a YMCA off of 20th Street. It's like right there by the Heights. I think it was called MD Anderson or something Moody something YMCA. It's still there, by the way. And they enrolled me in a Shotokan class. So I started taking it and I really enjoyed it. I was starting to get good. And right before I was about to test for my yellow belt, unfortunately, my dad pulled me out because, at the time we had a grocery store and, my dad was wanting, my mom to, take care of the business and stuff like that. And he had to, he needed her help in the business. So she wasn't able to take me. So they had to pull me out. And then from that point, I've always wanted to get back into it. So when I was 18, as I started my coursework in San Marcos at that time, Southwest Texas State University, I trained with Grandmaster Dan Baker in Kajukenbo, and that's where it started there on my path towards the martial arts.
Now, Kajukenbo is a Hawaiian style, correct?
Yes. So it's a Hawaiian system, and the five components of Kajukenbo make up the name. So Ka is Tangsudo Karate, the Ju is Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, the Ken is Chinese Kempo, and the Bo is Chinese boxing. So that's where they got the name Kajukenbo, because it's like 4 or 5 masters that came together to congregate and come up with the system.
Yeah, primarily for street fighting in the streets of Hawaii, correct? Which at that time when they developed it, was very street fighting centric, culture back then.
Yeah, at the time, I think it was probably just as intense as Kyokushin.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to find out here, so that's interesting. You went all the way, you got all the way to black belt in that?
Second degree.
Second degree, but yet you wanted to stretch out and do more. So what was your next step?
So when I got back here to Houston, I was looking for another instructor, that was high enough level to be able to promote me to my third. But at that time, I think there was a fourth degree at the time. Burt Vickers wasn't here at the time. I don't think so, because I couldn't find anybody high enough to promote me, and within the same method that I studied under, because I studied under the Kajukenbo Emperado method, and then of course there's like the Gaylord method, and there's some other different variations. Gary Forbach also has his own method, I believe, and so it was hard to find someone that had the same curriculum as my instructor did, so this way they could be able to test me and promote me to third. But at that time I was like, okay, so there's nobody here. So I was looking into American Kempo, because Kajukenbo has Chinese Kempo. So I was looking at somebody here that taught American Kempo. So I found a guy. He taught in his garage in Sugarland. So Terry McCord was my instructor at the time. He was teaching out of his garage, and I got up to purple belt. But at the time, it was just too far for me to drive. I was living in A-Leaf at the time. This was 05. Yes. So 96, once I got to my second degree black belt in Kajukenbo, there was a little bit of a break. I had to go get married,
You had to.
had some kids. And then 05 is when I started back getting into, American Kempo. And then it was just too far to drive. And then we moved out here to Katy. And then I wanted to find something over here, but there wasn't a Kempo school or anything like that. But there was a Kung Fu school. It was a Mantis school, Praying Mantis. So I was like, okay, let me check that out, because I think he also had some Shaolin Kempo in his curriculum and stuff like that. So Sifu Whit McClendon was my Praying Mantis instructor.
Is that Sifu still there?
Yes, he's still here in Katy. He is in Cinco Ranch off of Mason, like real close to 1093. He's still there. Every now and then, once in a blue moon, I'll go in there and I'll play with different weapons or something like that. Actually, when I was about to test for 7th degree, I went to go see Sifu Wit and get my refreshed on the Sai Kata, or the Sai form that we do in Mantis Kung Fu. And that's what I performed at Master Wayne Wynn's test ceremony, was the double Sai in Kung Fu.
Now the Praying Mantis style, it's Praying Mantis you do, correct?
Yes.
Now there's two Praying Mantis. Isn't there a northern and a southern Praying Mantis style? Do you do the Praying Mantis that people would recognize from the movies?
So mine is the style that we do is northern, and it is a blend of Walum and Tai Chi plum flower.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of Tai Chi movements, particularly Chen style Tai Chi. So the Chen style Tai Chi is more small frame. It's more for, like joint locking, breaking
Hmm.
stuff, as opposed to a larger frame, which is what you see in like the parks, the more of like the Yang style that are real large frame and stuff like that. Whereas the Tai Chi that we do, the Chen style is more small frame. It's real tight. Everything's more circular, tight economy of motion and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's a very cool system.
Yeah, well, because most people hear Chinese praying mantis and they think of what they've seen in the movies with the hook finger,
Yes,
and
we do have the hook finger.
oh, you do it. Okay, but the two
Yes, we
styles,
have it.
the northern and the southern, um, they have nothing to do with each other, right? They're not, you know.
Yeah, Southern is a little bit more different. It's very similar to almost I want to say it's very similar to Wing Chun, where it's very close. Everything is very close. A lot of the times I've seen their forms that they do. It's everything is all right in this little box right here that they're doing that I've
Mhm.
seen. It's very cool, and it's really meant for close quarter. Um, Whereas the northern is more elongated, using the body of the mantis to elongate the movements and everything like that. Um, it,
That'd be
it,
more what people are used to when they see the low stance with the hook finger and that's more
yes,
what people are familiar with from films, correct?
yes,
Okay, and that's pretty cool. Now,
yep, yeah. And then, so as I was training Kung Fu, that's when I started getting introduced into Krav Maga because Sifu Wit, his best friend from high school, Larry Escher, who also has a Krav Maga school here in Katy, he brought his instructor after he finished the instructor training. He brought in A.L. Yanilov, who's the head of the Krav Maga Global Association that I'm a part of. Brought him in for like a introduction into Krav Maga, and there's a great little picture of him and me, and he's got me like this in some sort of lockup, and it was because of that technique. It's like, okay, I want to do this too. So I started doing that, started training with Larry, and I became Larry's first student to become an instructor, and then that's what got me started into opening up my own school and stuff like that. And Larry helped me with that. Very grateful for Larry, to help me get my business going. But at that time, I wasn't Dragon's Den. I was CrossFit Now. So he got me help me with my website, everything. So, I appreciate Larry for helping me out, getting that started. And then from Krav Maga, that's when I saw that I want to do some ground stuff. You know, when I was training at Seafood Whit McClendon School, we had a grappling program, and this is right after Paul Thomas left his school to start up at that time Westside MMA, which is now Gracie Baja Katy now. So when
yeah,
Paul
Paul
left, he
Thomas who
still
had Jade Mountain, right? He had Jade Mountain martial arts, I believe. Was that
yes,
correct? And Katie, and I remember he used to be in the second floor of like a furniture place. He had like the whole second story up there. If people don't know the stories, he got his judo black belt from Carl Geis, who was a legendary judo instructor here in the Houston area that was legendary for kicking people out of his school. So if if you were able to get a black belt before you got kicked out, it was a huge accomplishment. And I believe Paul Thomas is one of the few people that got his black belt before he was asked to leave by Carl Geis. Rest in peace. But yeah, so that's a little bit of Houston martial arts history here. But so then carry on.
yeah. So I started training jujitsu. I started with Sifu Wit, and the first taste of me doing jujitsu was learning Eddie Bravo's lockdown.
Oh Lord.
That was my first technique, was the lockdown.
So you started with no gi.
Yes.
Okay.
So started with no gi, did that for about 6 months, and then trained with Professor Brandon Quick. I did a couple private lessons with him off and on. Drove all the way up to Waxahachie with a couple of other guys. like twice a month, I believe. And, just did that off and on. And then 2013, that's when I decided to join Gracie Baja West Chase. And now I'm still continuing to train with Professor Upiano Malachias. I hope I said that right. Hope he doesn't choke me later for not pronouncing it correctly, but I believe that's how he says it.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Somebody who has trained extensively in different styles, Chinese styles, mix of Japanese styles, Brazilian styles. Where do you think the Chinese styles fit in today's combat? Let's focus on, let's say, MMA. Do the Chinese styles have a place within today's MMA?
You got to remember, everything Kung Fu is fighting. It was created for fighting. Here's where everything gets lost, in my opinion, about where the Chinese traditional, whether it's Japanese or Chinese, the traditional martial arts are losing ground. Everyone wants to do the forms. Everyone wants to look cool doing the forms. No one wants to get hit in the face. However, the forms were created for fighting. So learning the applications of those forms is crucial. Like when I went for my black sash test in Kung Fu, my instructor wanted me to pick out like 5 applications of each form that I did, a fighting application of whatever it is in the form. And, we do a basic waist chop and stuff like that. And you see it in MMA. It's just people don't think of it as a really cool basic waist chop. But people are sitting there doing, the takedowns and stuff like that. But it has the Chinese or the traditional martial arts roots, but people don't teach it that way. And that's what's sad, because I know several Chinese martial arts masters. They want to create a tournament where you have to fight your own system. Like if you're a Praying Mantis system, or if you're a Shaolin Long Fist, they want to create a tournament to where you have to fight your style. This was like a while back. I heard that was, like
your
an
own
idea
style,
that they
fight
wanted
your
to
own
do.
style.
Yeah.
But weren't these styles invented for other styles? Like, how do I say it? So if you had a style of martial arts from your village, really you didn't fight people within your village. You fought people within 2 villages over who had a slightly different style. You know what I mean? So the styles were it's kind of like what they say today: styles make fights. But your style had to beat someone else's style, not necessarily your own. And I kind of think a lot of what went wrong with the martial arts. You tell me if you disagree with, like you say, let's take one of my styles. I have a black belt in Taekwondo, ITF style Taekwondo. Really effective against others, other people who do Taekwondo. You know what I mean? Not so effective against a collegiate wrestler, you know what I mean, or a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu guy, or even a boxer. You know what I mean? So, but really effective. And so a lot of guys get into this place where I'm really good at not only just my style, but I'm really good at my style in my gym. You know what I mean? I never take my style outside of my gym. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, you look at Ip Man. Ip Man was fighting everybody back in the day.
Yeah.
From different styles, and he was just using Wing Chun.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting his own system and stuff like that. I personally like to cross train myself. There's a lot of benefit of that, but here's, and then now, even within the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, now we have gi versus no gi. There's a debate going on. People are saying that gi is eventually going to go away, and it's now going to be no gi.
Go away. It's like saying judo is going to go away or something.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like both. I love to train in both.
Yeah, me too.
However, for me, because now I'm in my 50s, when I train no gi, I'm a little bit more sore. It takes me longer to recover after a good no gi training session. Whereas in gi, I can go and train the next day. I'm not as beat up because I have stuff that I can grab onto and lock on to control people. No gi, it's all more brute, brute muscle for me. And being able to hold on using the hooks and stuff like that, to control, it's more physical for me. So therefore, I get a little bit more beat up, worn out, and it takes me longer to recover from a no gi session than a gi session. But I mean, there's good in every martial arts. I mean, I know Master Jenny Pless is always talking about, there's no bad system. They're all good. They all have something good to bring to the table.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, hell, look at how many different martial arts I've been training. I like to train. I like to, see what this person has, this person has. I think the next thing I'm going to pick up is probably go into like Salat or some sort of Filipino martial art.
Oh, you haven't done any FMA yet?
I've dabbled with Larry because Larry's done some FMA, but I may look into getting into more of that. I mean, I played with the karambit. There was a little video I did a while back for the animator for Outlier, which she's working on. It's an anime series where I'm the stunt coordinator for that. And she was like, she had a video of her trying to mess with the karambit. And then I go, I could do that for you. And then so I shot a video of it and I'm just sitting there flipping it and everything. And then she's like, oh, why you gotta make me look bad? So
now, yeah. So, but yeah, hop into some FMA, man. Get some Kali. I love pulling out the
sticks.
Sticks, yeah, or even just hoobit drill. I'll come home, I'll hit my wife up with a hoobit drill. We'll just start doing it. It's fun. Man, FMA is something that I've only dabbled in as well, mostly through the lens of JKD. But I'd really like to, like you're saying, I really like to try to train some more serious Filipino styles of martial arts. I think they're very effective. Now, have we missed any style of martial art that you've trained? You're the encyclopedia.
So I don't think so. I think we covered them all.
If you had to just gun to your head, you can only train one style for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Why do you do that?
Now it could, it doesn't have to be. It could be Tai Chi just for health. We're both getting older, right? It doesn't have to be. I'm not looking to fight it. Get in street fights anymore. So martial arts now is about health, mental, physical, even spiritual health, keeping my mind and my emotions together. Fighting in a street.
Yeah, I always say martial arts is the fountain of youth. And people don't. I mean, you look at all these Asian people that are in the park, they're doing Tai Chi. They're living to 80s, 90s, doing, this large frame and just breathing and moving. The body's meant to be used. That was something Sifu Wit always said. The body's meant to be used. So use the body. Now, going back to your question about, if I had a gun to my head, what system would I use? For that particular instant, it would be Krav Maga. Krav Maga deals with all the different types of weapons, pistols, pistol threat, pistol holdups, knife threats, knife attacks, and stuff like that. Those against any type of weapon, I would try to use Krav Maga. Now, once I do the defense, now it becomes a kickboxing because now I'm fighting. The Krav Maga stuff is over once I do the initial defense. Because now I got to punch and kick, but I have to do it aggressively with the Krav Maga mentality of I'm going to screw you up. I'm just going to keep going, keep beating you until you are disabled, you're immobilized, and then I can go away. So, people ask me all the time.
Where does Jiu Jitsu come into play?
Don't get me wrong, I love Jiu Jitsu. All right. I'm a big proponent of Jiu Jitsu. However, in the street, you have to worry about multiple attackers. You don't know if this guy's got buddies or what have you. I mean, I love Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but if I go to the ground, I don't know if this guy's got a knife. I may be going for an arm bar. This guy pulls out a knife. Even though my arm is extended, this hand, he's got his knife, and now he's stabbing me.
Yeah.
Same thing. If he's got me in a triangle choke or something like that, I pull out my knife and I start stabbing. That is very problematic. In Krav, we say we don't want to go to the ground. We try to keep it standing up, as
But
much
even
as
if you're standing, what's the odds you don't get stabbed in that scenario?
say again.
Even standing, what are the odds you don't get stabbed in that scenario?
So anytime, whenever we see a knife, you always have to assume you're going to get cut. You're
But
going to
that's
get
the
cut.
thing.
You're going to get cut.
When do you see the knife? You probably see the knife when it's 3 inches in your rib cage.
Yeah, but sometimes, yes, if it's like a prison style shank where they just come up and just stab
Yeah.
you, yeah, that's going to be hard to defend because you don't know where, it's coming from. You don't know, oh, they're nice all of a sudden. Now they're stabbing me. So Ayal always said, if you get stabbed, don't get stabbed again.
Yeah.
Especially from behind. Someone behind, if they come up and stab you, well, I couldn't see them. They're behind me. So if you get stabbed, he says, don't get stabbed again. And we always have to assume if you do see the knife, assume that you're going to get cut, stabbed, or something like that. And then once you can get over that, then you'll be able to defend yourself. Because a lot of people see the knife, oh, I don't want to do it, I don't want to touch. I don't, people are more scared of knives than they are of pistols.
Oh man,
Why?
knives do horrible damage.
Exactly. Everyone's been cut and somehow cooking, doing something, slicing something, cutting trees or something like that. Everyone's been cut. Not everybody's been shot. So that's why some of these videos I see, you see people just going straight for the pistol with no care for life. They just, oh, give me that gun.
Oh yeah, I have seen that one. And I've seen people get shot doing that. Some of those videos.
But again, people, they haven't been shot. They've never been shot. So they figure, oh, I'm just going to go and grab this gun or whatever. And like you said, yes, people get shot because they moved or whatever. They do something stupid. If a gun is pointing at me, I always comply. We always say if it's stuff, give them stuff. But if they want to take you to a secondary location,
Nope.
now you got to fight.
Yep. Not to shoot me, not going to take me to the forest and then the wilderness and do whatever, then kill me.
Yeah, I'm not going down without a fight.
Yeah.
You're taking me somewhere else. I'm fighting somehow.
Yeah. So now let's transition a little bit into your acting career. How did you get interested in acting?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if you know Tu. I think you know Tu.
To Win, yes, my boy.
Yes.
Yeah, we worked on a couple projects together. A few of my short films in college. He did the fight coordination, fight choreography, I should say. And his goal always was what he told me was to get his skill set up, return to Vietnam, and have a career in the Vietnam film industry. Is he doing that right now, or?
That's what he's doing right now. He said it's so big right now.
Good for him.
It's funny because he reached out to me out of the blue. This is back in 2016. He Facebook messaged me. He's like, "Hi, Mark. My name is Tu, blah, blah, blah. I do stunt choreography for film. I need a Krav Maga guy. Would you be interested in doing something with us?" And I said, "Okay, sure. Just let me know when you need me." 1 year later, I didn't hear from him until like 2017. He's like, "Hey, Mark, can you come to our stunt training and attend that, and we'll see what we can put you in." So I go to the stunt training, and then next thing I know, I become his stunt trainer for the actors because he liked how I held the pads, how I was instructing the people, how they could understand me better than him. So he put me in charge of his stunt team at the time. So from that point, Victor was in there, and Victor gave me my first break in a movie. I mean, I was just an extra in his short film called Army of One. So, that's where my film career started. I mean, Victor Gelsomino put me in, and very thankful to Victor to get my film career started in doing that, and then started doing more shorts with Victor, and then I ran into you, and then got into Lion Killer, and then from Lion Killer doing other things.
How did we meet? I don't remember. Do you remember how we did
How
we meet
we
on
met?
one of those short films? I remember when you had your school CrossFit Now on Derry Ashford. I remember going there a few times for this and
Yeah,
that.
that's where
You
it was. It was
you
at CrossFit Now. I think we were doing a audition for stunt actors for Tiger Blood, I believe was the short film that Two was trying to do with some of his friends.
Mhm.
So we were doing some auditions for Tiger Blood, which didn't happen. I don't know what happened to the project. Some of the guys, I guess, weren't able to get the funds or something like that to do it. But yeah, that's where you came in, and we met, and then I had to get back because I was training everybody, and then next thing I know, you invited me over to Lion Killer.
Yeah, come on, man. And you were kind enough to let us shoot a little bit, not in your school, but behind your school. If anyone out there, my feature film Lion Killer, the poster's right behind me. It's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu film, and the lead Michael, you know, continually passes by this one area, and that one area is in the back of CrossFit Now, the back alley. It's kind of where
Mhm.
he jogs, and it kind of is a pivotal uh, a pivotal location in the film. Watch it and you'll see. But you were kind enough to let us shoot there, and I believe that was the last day we shot, and that was the martini shot. So it was the last shot, and so we kind of ended our Lion Killer journey with you
Mhm.
at CrossFit Now, and it was a beautiful experience. So thank you for that, Mr. Mark Dong. And
Yeah, no worries. I mean, while y'all were filming outside, you know, me and Regina, who is the support actress, you know,
also the female lead, yeah.
I was holding pads for her inside the school while y'all were out
I
there.
remember that. Excuse me. So Regina wasn't even you know, on schedule that day, but she knew it was the last day, and
Mhm.
she was such a pivotal character and pivotal personality. We couldn't have really made the movie without her. Um, she came on set, hung out all day. I guess you and her, worked pads, worked mitts. Um, and she was there just to hang out. Now I believe she teaches kickboxing in Atlanta. She's moved to Atlanta, so you're probably one of her first kickboxing instructors. She really didn't have much martial arts training when she started on Lion Killer, but it's funny. Matt Meehan, he's a blue belt now. Regina, she teaches kickboxing at a jiu-jitsu and MMA school. So like the martial arts kind of got in everybody's system, affected so many people that just worked on the set. And I think a lot of us have had that experience of just getting a taste of what the martial arts is, and the community that surrounds it, and the people that build it and support each other. That after you've seen that, you want to seek it out and have that for yourself. It seems like you've been doing that your whole life with the different styles and excuse me. Excuse me. But
Always a student.
yeah, keeping the student mindset. So you worked on Lion Killer, but then since then you've gone on, you've booked some bigger things. I believe you had a role on Walker. Tell us about some of your bigger roles you've had.
So the bigger roles that I've had, I mean, they're all support, but being on a major production, just to get on set of a major production and seeing how the crew and cast just gel. I mean, it's a big difference when you have these, you know, high paying actors, just come together and everybody just gels. It was like magic, you know. Um, Walker, I mean, in Walker, I was like they just used my photo
Mhm.
But I was on set. I saw, I met the lady, the young girl, who plays Stella and Augie, and then Liam, the brother. So they're all three. They were at their trailers. They all each had their own individual trailer, which was cool. And I was just there. I was waiting to go to set to get me in costume or whatever. And they just walked by and said hi. I wanted to get a picture, but they said no, no, no pictures and stuff like that. So I'm like, I didn't want to be that guy. Although I would have loved to have gotten a picture with them. But yeah, that was cool. And then the next one was Lioness. This is probably
Oh, you
as
had a
good as
part in
it's
line.
going to get for me.
Was that with Zoe?
Yes,
Mhm,
with Zoe Saldana and
mhm.
Nicole Kidman. So this is probably as good as it's going to get for me from a background perspective. So that scene, you know, I was in a scene with Zoe Saldana and Nicole Kidman, and I can't talk about it too much because it's coming up next month. The new season starts next month. But it was cool to be in a scene with them. It was really really cool.
So are you looking to transition from background actor to you know, little more meaty roles, maybe a little lead here and there?
I would so
Or
for
are
me,
you looking to transition more into your stunts? Because I know we haven't talked about your stunt work yet, but what's next for Mr. Mark Dong?
I don't mind being a support. I really don't have the time to be a lead, I guess you could say, because I know if you're a lead, you have to block out like X amount of weeks and stuff like that to be able to do something. I'm okay with being that guy that has like a recurring two or three lines like on a recurring series or something like that. I'm okay with doing that. Um, and then, like you mentioned, I'd like to get into more of the stunt coordination. Um, Although I did stunt acting and stuff like that. Right now, like I mentioned, I'm in my 50s, so falling downstairs, being thrown over the cars and flipped and beat up. Um, my body's not liking that too much anymore. So I would like to do more of the stunt coordination, and learn more about that. Um, but yeah, so after Linus, then the next big gig was 1923. I was an extra in that. Again, that was another, both of these were, really huge projects that I was in, and it was amazing, especially on 1923, to see how they coordinated with. There was 200 extras on set that day. Yeah. So being able to, they divided us into two teams and stuff like that. You had Alpha, you had Bravo on this side. All right, we need Team Alpha on set right now. Get to your places where we put you. Team Bravo, be ready. Once these guys do their thing, you're coming up right behind them. So it was amazing how they did all the coordination with 200 extras. So it was just amazing to be on a great production. And I think all three of these were no, I think just Linus and 1923 were all Taylor Sheridan. So he's a very intense guy. I got to meet him when I was on set of Linus, but intense but still nice. He was in the moment, so I didn't want to bug him too much. But he was cool people.
Now, what do you recommend? What's your advice, I should say, for anyone trying to get into acting?
Stunt acting.
You said
Stunt
stunt
acting is
acting.
probably the easiest way to get in because everybody needs somebody to beat up. There's always going to be a fight scene, unless it's a drama or something like that. There's going to be some sort of stunt work that's needed. Even if it's just a drama or something like that, people don't think running is a stunt work. Yes, it's stunt work because if you trip, guess what? You may have to learn how to fall. Um, and that's the other thing. If you are going to be a stunt actor, you have to know how to do rolls. You have to know how to do break falls. Uh, you know,
Which you could
that
learn
was
at your local Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or Judo school. Or you could come see Mark Dong and he could teach you because you do have classes, correct?
Yes, I do classes from time to time. I know I've had a couple actors reach out to me. They either want to do private lessons or they want to do like another stunt workshop that I've done in the past. Uh, the last stunt workshops that I did, believe it or not, it was all women. It was all women. And there is a need for more stunt women. So, you know, so ladies, if y'all are thinking about getting into movies and want to learn how to do some butt kicking, get into stunt acting because there is a short and there is a need for women to do stunts.
So it seems like learn a martial art, get into stunts, get into acting. Is that the trajectory?
That would be a good path.
The seafood, yes, grasshopper. That would be a good path.
I have shown you the path. Now you must take it on your own.
So seriously, what is next? What's your next move? What's going on next for Mr. Mark Dong?
So for me right now, I just recently got my level 2, level 3, level 4 private security license. And I'm still waiting to hear back on my license to be a process server. So now I'm kind of sort of doing some private security here and there. I can do bodyguard work because my level 4 license. Um, but I'm also starting up a workout training program here in Katy at Bona Fitness. I started in October. They hired me on as a personal trainer, and
Big Keith.
Dr. Keith Scruggs, yes. So Dr. Keith Scruggs has been wanting me to join his gym because he's like,
Good
Mark,
guy.
yeah. He's like, Mark, you have skills that none of my other trainers have. I would love to have you join our team. And it took me some time, I think almost a year before I actually said, okay, let's do this. So now what's happening with that, I think we're talking about doing something similar to tactical games where you're doing like some sort of high intensity CrossFit style workout, and then you go and shoot some targets, on a live range. So they'll do the workout with me. I'll get their heart rate up, stress them out, get them fatigued a little bit, and then they go to the simulator and try to see how well they do. So we're going to do something like that.
They run straight to it and then they just pick up,
Yeah, because everyone's
shooting.
talking about in a self-defense situation, I just pull out my gun and shoot and all that good stuff. But shooting out, standing and shooting in front of paper, really different from shooting from concealment. Like someone shooting at you, now you have to hide. Now you're shooting from a kneeling position. You may have to shoot from on your belly, depending on where you're at.
Just your adrenaline's pumping. You've got
Your
fear. You've
adrenaline,
got,
exactly. So being able to take firearms training to the next level,
okay.
in a stressful style environment. And we're going to call the program Fit to Protect.
Fit to Protect. Coming soon. Fit to Protect.
Yes.
I like it, man. What is your advice to anyone out there looking to get into the martial arts?
Just get up off the couch, enter the doors, and say, "Hi, I would like to start training."
Don't just the closest dojo, just walk in and sign up, or what?
Try out different ones. I mean, if you say you like karate, but then you go and do a trial class, maybe it's not for you, go try Jiu Jitsu class. Okay. If you're not wanting to be rolling around with sweaty people, then that may not be for you. you know um However, if you're a female, I highly recommend you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it is growing with females now. It's a growing martial art for females now,
Yeah.
because now females are starting to see the practicality of it.
And it's fun. I think they realize, hey, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And then also you talking about reality, you know, who's going to attack you most of the time? Is it another female? Or is it going to be another guy? Going to be a guy. So a lot of the females they at first they don't want to roll with guys. They want to get comfortable first. Let them roll with the women. The ladies pair up and all that good stuff, so they can get comfortable. And then once they start getting comfortable and gaining a little knowledge of what to do, then they'll want to start training with the guys. Because that's who's going to attack more guys, more than likely. So yeah, just get up, just go into a school, whether it's Kung Fu, Muay Thai, karate, try them all out. I mean, they have free trials. I mean, some schools offer free week, give it a try, see if it's for you. Oh, I don't like the uniform. Okay, well, try another martial art.
Now, some
Yes.
people do live in more rural areas where they might just have a taekwondo school or something. Just do that until you have access to something else. You might find that taekwondo is a great sport and a great martial art for you. Get out there, get in a gym, join it, meet some people, build community, and like you said, I think getting off the couch. But that's the major. Even today, sometimes you want to go to the gym, and it's just I want to sit. My body says sit here, but you have to go through that mental grappling to get off the couch, put your keys in the ignition, and get down to the gym and get sweaty. But after that, it's more than worth it. Do you have any funny stories or interesting stories, whether it be in your martial arts journey or your acting journey, that you can share with the good people listening to FURYCAST?
Oh, Lord. A very interesting story. And, I was testing for brown sash, and part of my test was a 15-minute continuous sparring with Sifu Wit. And I just come back from, I think, the first part of my Krav Maga instructor training. So I just came back from the first part of my Krav Maga instructor training, which was 10 days. And then I had to do my test for brown sash. And, we got to the sparring part. I think within the first minute or so, Sifu Wit did a roundhouse kick, and I did the Krav Maga roundhouse kick defense, and I bloodied his nose. He just started leaking. I don't know what happened. I just went bang, hit him straight in the nose, and he just started bleeding. And then he had to go into the bathroom. And while I was sitting there, we had another one of our students keep me warm, like still sparring with me and stuff like that. Although the time stopped because Sifu had to go take care of the nosebleed. And then one of the other students went in there afterwards, trying to clean up. She said it looked like a CSI. It looked like a murder scene because there was blood all over. But yeah, she ended up cleaning it all up. Thankful for her. And then we continued. And then next thing I know, I was just nonstop looking up at the ceiling all the time. Because I'm like, oh no, I bloodied the instructor's nose. I'm going to pay now. So that's probably my most interesting. And he thought it was funny too that I bloodied his nose within the first minute or so with the Krav Maga technique. So we both laugh at it and everything. And even after the sparring, he was just giggling and laughing. It's like, wow, you blooded my nose. That was cool. So yeah, that was a funny / interesting story.
Where can people reach you if they want to do private lessons with you or they want to do some stunt training?
So they can reach me. My number is 281-818-2035, or they can send me an email at info@dragonsdensda.com.
There you go, people. There you have it. Mark, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I got to know you a little bit better, and hopefully, man, pretty soon we can make another movie together or something.
Let's do it.
All right, man. God bless.
All right. Thank you for having me on, Derrick.
Another episode of FURYCAST is in the books. Want to give a big shout out to stunt coordinator, actor, and martial artist Mark Dong for coming on the show today. His links are in the description. You can also follow my new graphic novel, The Gentleman's Guild. Yes, I'm making a graphic novel. It's called The Gentleman's Guild with artist Ebi Canales. You can sign up for the mailing list now. The link for that is also in the description. And don't forget to watch Lion Killer, my debut feature film. That's right, I made a movie. It's called Lion Killer. It stars Regina Ting-Chen, who's currently on season 4 of Stranger Things. You can watch it at Amazon Prime, Tubi TV, Freevee, the Roku channel. There's even a full Spanish dub. And don't forget to do your boy Fury a solid by liking this video, commenting down below, subscribing to the channel, and yes, even smashing the bell so you can be notified every time a FURYCAST video drops. This is Derrick Fury. Till next time, peace.